Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna open up the meeting. The time is 2:30 for the Housing Authority of the County of Monterey. It's the Personnel Committee meeting. And if I can ask, Tori, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Sure.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can we go ahead and have roll call, please?
Sure. Commissioner Ballesteros,
Present?
Commissioner Goodwin,
Present.
Commissioner Miller.
Present.
Okay. So do we have anybody from the public?
We do not, and no one on the phone.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, now we have approval of the minutes of the Personnel Committee that was held on January 18th, 2022. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll
Okay.
second.
Okay, Commissioner Goodwin made the motion and Commissioner Miller seconded. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ballesteros,
Yes.
Commissioner Goodwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And neither of you had any questions or concerns on those minutes? Forgot to ask that before we voted. No?
I was fine with them, Kathleen.
So now we're gonna go into new business, 5A Resolution 3048. And that resolution is about, hold on, let me go there. The AB 361, Tori, go ahead.
Yep, this is just the standard and ongoing AB 361 motion allowing us to conduct business virtually.
Okay. So, and this one, we just need to get it put on the board meeting, correct?
Correct.
Will it go under consent agenda or under new business?
I would say consent.
Okay. So do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, a second?
I'll second. Sorry.
All right, thank you. Do we need a roll call?
We can. Commissioner Ballesteros,
Yes.
Commissioner Goodwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Okay, now we have resolution 3049. This is the schedule for annual plan, the PHA certification of compliance with the 2022 agency annual plan and related regulations. This is Tori?
Yes, so the resolution, this is just an informational item, and at the board meeting, we'll make sure that we'll label it as such.
Okay.
Because we don't pass the resolution until early April.
Okay,
So annual plan happens every year. You have to follow a process with a
Right.
45-day notice process. You have to have a meeting with the RAB board. You have to have a public hearing. And then all of that needs to happen before the Board of Commissioners can approve the meeting. And then you submit it to HUD 75 days prior to your fiscal year start, which for us is April 14th. So we've already started the process. We met with the RAB board last week. We have in your packet the draft plan that goes up on the website today, and we run ads in the paper tomorrow saying that the plan is available. For those of you who have been on the board for a while, the plan is much easier than it used to be, because now we no longer have any public housing units. So it's a Section 8 voucher only plan. And in it, we describe new activities. The only new activity, and it's really an ongoing new activity, is the award of project-based vouchers. So in our plan, we say that we will continue to do project-based vouchers. B3, we have to disclose whether there are any findings in the audit, in the most recent audit, and there was a finding. That finding was related to the state of the client files in the voucher department. Staff believes that the missing information was most likely in another folder. So when you have somebody who's on the voucher program for a long time, their files just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then at some point you archive the old file and you start a new file. And staff believes that what happened was they didn't pull the information from the old file and bring it over into the new file to kind of start the new file. And so that was the audit finding, and we've responded to it and put into place a new process where we move that information over into new files when we archive old files. So we think that that will satisfy that finding. And then the board will be asked to make a civil rights certification that you do every year. And then there's a certification for consistency with the consolidated plan by local officials. And that happens every year. And then there's the progress report, which in your board packet is pages 16 to 17. And this basically is kind of the place where we say, this is what's happening and what's happened in the past year. And so, first off, the most exciting piece is HACM has over 400 new vouchers that it's been awarded this past year. The bulk of them were through the emergency housing voucher program. But then we also had allocations in the foster youth independence program and BASH vouchers. And altogether, that adds up to increasing the size of the program by almost 10%. And then we just talk about a number of the other ongoing activities that the agency is doing to make progress with its 5-year plan. The other items of note, the payment standards were updated to reflect market increases. And you've also implemented multiple payment standards for different areas in the county. You've maintained your high performer status, and you successfully graduated 7 households from the Family Self-Sufficiency Program. So those are the big updates in the plan. I do not expect that this will be controversial and that we will get many people to show up for the public hearing and that we will receive a lot of comments. Any questions on this item?
Do any of the commissioners have any questions? Commissioner Miller or Commissioner Goodwin?
I do not. And thank you for the great presentation.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, Tori. I know I went through each piece and kind of understood it, and I've seen this before. And thank you for explaining about how we don't have public housing, but now we have all the vouchers. So thank you for, letting us know about that. Okay, so now that one is information only, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so now let's go to resolution 3050, authorization to add job position construction manager. So go ahead, Tori.
So as we reunify HDC and HACM, we brought over the job titles of the positions where there were current employees. But at the time that we did that, we forgot to include the construction manager, which there is no incumbent. So HDC was looking for a construction manager. And so we just need to create that position over here at Hackham so that we can hire a construction manager who will work on those projects.
Okay. So do you have any questions, Paul, Commissioner Miller or Commissioner Goodwin?
No, I don't. Seems pretty straightforward. Definitely
Okay.
something that we need as we redevelop some of these properties. So
Yes. Commissioner Goodwin?
No,
Okay. So do I have a motion so we can move it to, would it be under new business or consent agenda?
I'm fine with it either way. I would imagine that it could go on the consent agenda.
Okay. Okay, so do you have a motion?
I will make that motion
I'll
for the
second it.
consent agenda.
Okay,
I'll second it.
okay. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ballesteros,
Yes.
Commissioner Goodwin,
Yes,
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So now we're gonna go to number 6, information, and we'll start with the HR scorecard.
Yeah. And so in your packet, I provided kind of a separate memo that wasn't the scorecard. And I just wanted to flag some things for the commissioners. So
Okay.
there are at least 13 vacancies here at Hackham. A number of those vacancies are critical to the ongoing operation of the Housing Authority, including, as you know, the executive director, the director of housing, the director of finance, the HR director. Those are all key senior staff positions, and they are all currently vacant. And then in the finance department, in addition to the director of finance being vacant, we need a accounting assistant 2, a finance specialist, and a payroll specialist. And along with that, and it's not in the finance department, but it is related, is a manager of procurement and contracts. So we've got a lot of balls in the air and a lot of things that need to get hired. And we're in a tough market. And by my count, and under here on the screen, you can see the new hires. Only one of those new hires was not a temporary, was a full-time regular employee. We are continuing to schedule interviews. We are trying to move fast, but it's a tough job market. And we have, since January, 3 additional employees have resigned to take better paying jobs. 1 in Section 8, 1 in finance, and the HR payroll specialist. So, so we're in a tough spot, and I just wanted to make the commissioners aware of that. I have taken the privilege of the interim executive director role and made several internal moves. Jose Acosta, who can't be with us today due to a family emergency, he had been acting as the director of property management, but had not been officially called and promoted temporarily as the interim director. So I went ahead and made that official. Along with that was the procurement and contracts manager, Pablo Verdugo. He had also been in an acting capacity, but not in an interim capacity. And then Ricardo Calderon had been acting as the maintenance supervisor for quite some time. And Jose and I discussed it, and we decided to offer Ricardo the job. So we were able to fill that position with Ricardo permanently. So that's kind of the big updates. The other big update in the HR scorecard is we officially have transitioned from ADP to Paylocity, which will save us money and also give the employees more control over their payroll portal and access to that. And with that, I conclude my HR update.
Okay, I did notice on the prior, I couldn't find it on here, Tori, but I do have a question. So I know that the duties of the clerk of the board were added to Gabriella's.
Yes.
And so I wanted to see if you can provide a copy of those, a copy of that. So
Of the job description?
I can review it just to see it.
Sure.
And then, so I have a second question. So was the position of the clerk of the board, has that been like abolished, or it doesn't exist anymore since you moved the duties to Gabriella?
So at this time, I don't have any intention of filling that role.
Okay,
I don't think that it was a full-time job and that you need a separate person to do that. Gabriella has done a good job of acting as the clerk. And usually most agencies, those are a combined role where the executive assistant is also the clerk of the board.
okay. All right. Commissioner Miller or Commissioner Goodwin, do you have any questions regarding the HR scorecard for Tori?
I kind of did. Is Gabriella going to be compensated, or does
Yes, so she got a raise.
Okay. She deserves one?
Yep.
Thank you. That's a good question. And Commissioner Miller?
Sorry, I couldn't get off mute. Are we, I don't know, are we relatively close on any of those open positions, Tori?
Yes,
We,
I mean, we are interviewing and we are taking applications on all of them, I believe. We just haven't been getting a lot of great applications in, and then when we do, we put together a panel and we move forward with the interview. The process here is not as streamlined as I've seen in some other environments. And I haven't changed that, and I think some of it is related to the union environment. So the union and staff put together staff panels to conduct the interviews, which can sometimes take longer than just a single person interviewing somebody. And then they make recommendations to me.
okay. Do you think there's a possibility, because that I used to work in an environment just like that too. It makes it very cumbersome to get someone hired, especially if you're under the gun to get any of that done. Is there the possibility, do you think, that of a way of streamlining that would help fill those positions?
I would need to take a look at the bargaining agreements to see whether or not that's a real option. And what staff have said is, I don't think that it is. I think it might be in the bargaining agreements because they've always done it this way. But what I've directed them is staff need to make this a priority and put those panels together, and they have been.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And I do know that the ad hoc committee we're still meeting and trying to get those two critical, two key positions, which is the executive director, and then also the director of finance, or the CFO. I wanted to mention to all of you, and Tori, Chair Wizard might, he might present the information to you on our board meeting, but him and I met with Nancy Lloyd. She's the president of Michi. We met with her yesterday and it was offsite. We met, and because you know how we're moving forward and we're HTC has we're, you know, it's how do you say, it's merging with under HACM or together with HACM. So you know, we Chair Wizard wanted to meet with her and you know, any, you know, just to let her know that we're open, that, you know, to meet with her, any concerns. And she did mention a couple of things in regards to property management. So I don't know, Toby, if Chair Wizard already contacted you, but I'll remind him to bring it up on our board meeting on Monday. And that way he can, since he has a better memory than I do. And that way he could kind of fill all the commissioners of that conversation that we spent that time together. And we just wanted to do it so we can be transparent, and because we're, you know, we're partners, you know, in providing affordable housing. But I guess there's just some concerns in regards to property management. So maybe you could just note it down, Tori. And
Yep.
I'm not sure if Chair Wizard emailed you or contacted you, but I'll remind him.
Okay. No,
Okay.
thank you. And thank you for having that meeting. I think it's an important next step of trying to repair the relationships.
Yes, and she was actually the one that wanted to meet in person. It was her, she requested to meet in person. She didn't want to do a Zoom meeting, so we did it in person. So to me, it went really good, you know, and we just listened. I didn't really do a whole lot of talking. You know, I was just there to listen and, you know, just to support, you know, HACM and HDC in this time of going forward. So thank you. Okay, so now we'll go to 6B, housing programs, unless somebody has any questions. Okay, go ahead. Housing programs report.
Okay, let me just unmute. Okay. I really don't have anything to report. Everything's on my report. But I just want to do a highlight on the emergency housing vouchers. On the report, I did put the utilization chart on there so the board could see how many vouchers were issued and how many have total leased at the bottom on the second page. So my staff is working strongly on scheduling all these families. As you know, these families or individuals, is very difficult to get a hold of them because they're homeless. So my staff has been scheduling appointments 20 to 30, and out of those, we usually get 5 that show up. So staff has been coordinating with the partner agencies to try to get a hold of them. So that is one of the biggest issues we're having right now is on the emergency housing vouchers, is getting the families here. We have tomorrow we have a group, I believe 25 appointments. Hopefully they'll show up. We've been in contact with the partner agencies to confirm with their appointments. So we're trying really hard. We leased up. Right now, we have currently 39 families searching for vouchers. And for the EHV, we have referrals of 155 that we have received. And families that attended the briefing, that was 23, but now we have 38 that attended the briefing total. So we have 48 families right now searching under the EHV. And then right now we have 8 that are pending, and from the EHV, we have 4 that the units are not ready. The landlords need to fix some things. So hopefully we'll get these families in by this week, or if not, in the beginning of March. But that's pretty much everything on my board report, unless the board has any questions.
And just to clarify for commissioners, so the emergency housing voucher program is different than a lot of our other programs where we are not managing the waiting list. We have to wait for partner agencies to make a referral of a homeless family or individual. And then work with that partner agency through the search process. So it's a little bit different than our standard program. HUD is, I would say, not displeased with our progress. They understand this is a tough program to get started, and we are working well with our partner agencies. The real challenge is just finding landlords to take folks. And, you know, even for our normal voucher clients, it's a challenge. We only have a, 75% success rate. And then you add on top of that a homeless family, and it's that much easier for landlords to say no. And so that's been the biggest challenge, is finding units.
Any question, Commissioner?
I mean, I don't have any questions. I can fully understand the difficulty in being able to fulfill those vouchers and get people into places. Then the contact information, because unfortunately that segment of our population is so transitory and everything else that it makes it incredibly difficult to be able to know where they're going to be at any given time. So I'm not sure what the answer to trying to get that number is up, especially when we're having to rely on agencies that are totally overworked trying to deal with the problem. So thank you for the stuff that you are trying to do with it, though.
Yes. Commissioner Goodwin?
Just ditto what Commissioner Miller said, and thank you, Maria, for doing such a great job. I know it's a lot of work, above and beyond, but you have a stick-to-itiveness about you that you're not going to give up on it.
No,
Thank
thank you.
Maria, I have a question for you. So let's say these emergency house voucher, do you utilize providing them, you know, like housing in a motel?
No.
No.
That's
The partner agencies are the ones that work with the families, and if they need usually the homeless are at the shelters. They're the ones that we're able to be in contact with.
Okay.
But the housing authority does not provide any kind of hotel or vouchers.
Okay. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Ballester, usually the Salvation Army or other community outreaches will provide that if needed. Catholic churches do, and just to name a couple.
Okay.
When I worked in Seaside, we had a lot of homeless seniors would come into the community center there, and it was heartbreaking to say the least. So what you're doing is what Maria is doing is wonderful, and to be totally commended. But there are outreaches to provide hotels and other sheltering as needed.
Okay. Thank you. So now to close, we'll go to commissioner comments. Commissioner Goodwin?
I just wanted to thank everybody for all the reports. Thank you, Tori, for always being here for us and doing a great job. And to all the other employees and commissioners, thank you for comments. And I will see you guys next week. Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Miller?
I'll just thank you again for some good information in this, and I hope that we're able to start to see some progress on getting some of those key positions filled to kind of give relief to people at the authority there, because I can totally understand adding more and more onto each people's plates, make it really difficult. And to Tori, Maria, and Gabby, who are on this one, thank you very much for your hard work, and to all the employees for everything that they're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I just ditto what both commissioners stated. Thank you, Tori, Maria, and all the staff for hanging in there during this transition and then added duties. That's a lot. So thank you so much. So we'll see you all on Monday, unless you're gonna be in the finance committee. So
Yes.
I'll
thank
be
you.
on that one at
Okay.
3:30. So
Yes.
Thank you.
who's ever there at 3:30, I'll see you then.
Okay, we're adjourning at 3:01 PM. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Have a good
everyone.
evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.